Hey, what's up, producers? Today we're going to be finding out how smart the smart gate from Sonible actually is. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this audio here because it explains what the smart gate does that makes it smart and actually shows you along the way. So let's go ahead and do that. Hey, what's up, everybody? Joshua Casper here, and today we're checking out the smart gate. I'm taking some breaths because this is what I am most excited about removing or using the gate for. But we're also going to look how it intelligently removes things that are not the target set. So in this case, we'll set the target to my speech, and then we'll add something else like room noise. And hopefully you'll see that it removed that. It didn't open the gate for not my voice. And there we go. And boom goes the dynamite. So what happened there is there's actually room noise that's at the same or even above my volume of my voice in the same audio clip. And there's also some really loud birds chirping. But what the point is here is that a gate would let that pass by because the gate usually just looks at how high the volume or the gain is of the audio signal. This is what it does is looks at not only the normal gate parameters, but also is it speech in this case, and says if it's not speech, you don't want to hear that. And it's done a perfectly good job. If I bypass the plugin, you can hear what was there that the smart gate actually removed. And then we'll add something else like, before we jump there, listen to that breath to my speech. And then we'll add, I hate my breathing in an audio recording, and they're so difficult to remove for some reason because I'm talking to different ways to the microphone and it just changes all the time, and there's nothing smart enough to remove it, but this actually does a fantastic job. Anyway, I digress. Let's listen to the room noise to my speech, and then we'll add something else like room noise. And hopefully you'll see that. So there's that, and then back here, voice. And there we go. So when I played you the audio initially, you didn't hear those birds or that noisy room. And that's the whole point. Now, we can do it on something like speech, but we can also do it on a drum loop with a bass line, which I'm going to show you here in a second. But before I do that, I want to show you what a normal gate would do with this audio clip. So I'm going to keep the smart gate bypass, and I'm just going to minimize it. And I've got the gate here. So let's get rid of the breath here to my speech. And then it's already dialed in. I mean, I already dialed it in before we started here, but to my speech, and then we'll add. So that's great. I got rid of my voice, but what about that room noise? Let's see what it does with that. To my speech, and then we'll add something else like room noise. And the birds, or not my voice. And there we go. Not smart gate isn't going to work on something like this. So what would be a real world use case for this? It's when you're recording vocals with someone in a vocal booth. They've got their headphones on, and then you can hear that mic bleed. If it's really loud and compared to what your level is of your mic, you can save it by using the smart gate, and it will remove the mic bleed. Anything you're going to be recording with a microphone, there might be room noise or whatever that you don't want to happen when there should be silence. This is just going to intelligently find it and get rid of it for you. You can also use it to like borrow kicks, snares, hi-hats from a drum loop as well. So let me show you how to use it that way. So for this, let's go ahead and I'm gonna reset it. And then I'm gonna make it bigger so you can see. And this is the audio we're working with. So you can see that there is a bass, kick, snare, and hi-hats. It's pretty simple. The more complicated signal that you give this, the more varied the results are going to be. It's a gate. It's not meant to be stem separation. It's meant to allow things to pass by the gate or not, but it actually does a really good job at like focusing in on a snare, kick, the hi-hat, and I'm going to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and reintroduce the smart gate, and we're going to set the first one here. Let's just do kick, and then it's going to say it's looking for the kick, so we play it the audio. And look at how fast. That was real time. It took like 2 kicks when it was like, oh, that's a kick. That's what you want. And so obviously it's not perfect, but we can use the smart gate's parameters to really zero in on just the kick. So the first thing we might want to look at in this case is the threshold, because it is allowing those hi-hats to pass through. So this would be like a normal gate parameter. So just by moving that threshold way up, it's only allowing just the kick, because the kick's the heaviest part of the track. But that's not the way we want to do it. That's a little less intelligent, if you will. So let's use the level bias instead and see what kind of result that gives us. That does a better job and it sounds cleaner. What the level bias is doing is saying, hey, really look for a kick rather than using the threshold where it's just looking at volume. And next thing I'm going to do is just pull down the release time. And we're pretty close. I mean, if we're just looking to sample one kick, we've definitely got a clean one in there. But if we're looking to use the kick pattern, we want all the kicks to be clean. We can use this window down here, and it's called the impact window. And if you click that little arrow, it'll probably be like this. You can open it up. And what we want to do is actually pull up on the high end to remove the hi-hat there. You can already see we're very, very close to the kick. Now you can still hear the bass a little bit. And it's also very helpful. It shows you in real time what you're going to be getting. So I would say that that's a very good place for the kick. Just pull up the threshold a little bit, increase the level bias, and use that impact module down there just to remove the hi-hat, and you've got a kick. Let's check it out on the snare. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, come to reset and come in and choose snare and let the audio play. And on this one, again, I'm just going to crank up that level bias, and I believe that's all I really need to do. And it's the same thing, but kind of in reverse for this. We're getting a lot of that subby bass still, because remember, there's a full bass line behind that snare. All we need to do for this one is use that impact multiband and just remove the bass. That's a snare hit. You've got it by using a gate, which isn't crazy. How clean that is with how little I had to do is pretty impressive. So, I mean, just throw a little bit of reverb on it. That's a snare. You've successfully, what do you call it? Not steal. It's borrowed that snare from that drum loop. Of course, let's go ahead and just try the hi-hats, which you would think, because the hi-hats sit back further in the mix, a normal gate wouldn't be able to let you just focus in on that. You'd have to do a whole bunch of stuff. This one will just do it for you because of the smart function where you're just telling it, hey, let's look at hi-hats. So first thing I'm going to do, reset again. Come in, choose hi-hats, let it listen. All right, and I'm going to remove that reverb there. And let's just go ahead and use the level bias here again. So again, you're kind of here. It's kind of dirty right now, but we just have to use this impact module to remove that ultra low end. That's truly impressive, what's just happened there. Again, we're using a gate to do this, which is not would not be my first go-to to try to get that out of there, but I can with the Smart Gate from Sonible. Now, that's just the one plugin. If I really wanted to clean up that hi-hat, I could use an EQ after and really get rid of any of the mid to low end. This is not an EQ down here. Remember that. This is just helping the algorithm isolate what you do and do not want to pass by the gate. That's pretty impressive. It's like magic. Anyway, that's the Smart Gate, the quick and the dirty of it. It's available now on Plugin Boutique if you want to check it out. Links in the video description as usual. I'm Joshua Casper here for Plugin Boutique. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.